And hello, West Deptford. We are back again. Episode number 3, the third installment of our I.A.O series as we come back to the NEST for 2020. And tonight we're going to talk about Overcome. Our I.A.O series, Improvise, Adapt, Overcome. Monday you got Improvise. Wednesday we went deep with Adapt. And we come back tonight to wrap it all up with Overcome. And when I think about Overcome, Mr. Panch, I think about grit, which, I think is the buzzword now, but, grit, that just absolute refusal to lose, refusal to be overwhelmed, refusal to lose something. I think about grit. I think about perseverance. I think about fortitude, that desire to step up and do something towards your cause, whatever that may be.
Absolutely. And like you and I were discussing before we came on the air tonight, overcoming, it's an ongoing battle. Each day you're going to overcome the obstacles. You're going to achieve some things, but you're going to fail at others. And the next day is going to present more of those challenges, those obstacles. But like you said, I think grit, perseverance, and fortitude are the exact words that are synonymous with overcome. Every day you're going to have to go at it, and you have to be willing to step up to the plate in order to overcome anything. And right now, we couldn't be faced with something bigger than that right now. And overcoming may not be beating it or stopping it or slowing it down. It may be, what did you overcome in this week? What did you overcome in this day? How, as you reflect on the week that we've just had, where do you think you failed? Where do you think you achieved? And what are you going to do next week to overcome bigger obstacles?
And you kind of touched on it right there. I think one of the biggest mistakes people make when they think about achieving a goal or overcoming adversity is they constantly think long-term or big picture, when to overcome that's something that's really significant, like what we're dealing with now. That's a day by day. It's a step by step. Like, today, we're cutting this loose on Friday. Let's win Friday. Let's get better Friday. Let's take a step forward Friday. Let's do something better on Friday. Go to bed, wake up on Saturday. Let's do something a little bit better Saturday. Anything. Just a little bit better. Don't worry about what's next week gonna bring. What are we gonna do a month from now? What's May gonna look like? What's June gonna? Just what are we doing today to be a little bit better than we were yesterday? That's overcoming something. And the reality is, adversity is here. It's not going anywhere. Like, that's the reality. And now things are getting hard. And some of you just need to go back and revisit Monday and Wednesday podcasts. I'll tell you that right now, because some of you are starting to feel the grind. This is like that 5th day of double sessions camp where things are starting to settle in. But the grit and perseverance that one can put forth, that fortitude to say, and that pride. Pride is an underused term now. It used to mean something. Self-pride used to mean something. People would fight to the death for pride, and I think we've lost a little bit of that for whatever reason. But pride means so much. Your name means so much. What your name stands for means so much.
And I think, as someone who's now been in this town and in this district for 7 years, I think pride is a word that is West Deptford. I think this is a proud town. This is a community of people that always continue to fight, that always want to bring that energy and that expectation. And right now, we shouldn't be operating any different. We should continue to support each other, not just in West Deptford at this point, but this whole area, this whole country, this whole world right now. Be proud of what you do. Be proud of what you've accomplished, but understand that what you beat on Friday may punch you in the face on Saturday.
Yep.
Are you willing to get back up and say, damn, I've got to go at this again? Well, yes, you absolutely do. And you should be proud to represent it again and continue to face everything that's thrown at you.
we have a lot of thoughts. And at this time, when you're stuck in the house and you can't do a lot, we have 60, 70,000 plus thoughts that run through our head. Like factually, that many thoughts are running through your head on a given day. When you're stuck where we are now, it's probably more like 80, 90,000, to be honest with you. And it's factual. It's proven that the majority of those thoughts are negative because of human nature. Like, you trace it all the way back. I mean, books are written on this stuff. When cavemen walked the earth and they're walking around at night, they're scared to death. Like, their thoughts were negative. Is there a bear going to jump out? Like, is a lion about to attack me from those bushes right now? So we're kind of predisposed to the majority of our thoughts on any given day being those of the negative style. And those negative thoughts create fear, which is where we're at today. What separates the successful people from unsuccessful is what they do with that fear. Those negative thoughts ball up into fear. That fear sinks into your system. What are you going to do with that? Is that fear going to be a motivating factor? And now you start to visualize how you're going to attack that fear. And let me tell you something right now. If you're sitting at home and you're not visualizing how you're going to get better before you do it, you're just laying on the couch being useless, you're going to struggle.
And I think visualization is the right word, and a vision. You need to look within. You need to, in athletics, you say mental reps. I don't know if we ever dive deep enough into what that actually means. And that may be, in sport, it's, I'm visualizing a fastball coming or a curveball, or they're definitely going to run to the outside. I'm going to make this move and I'm going to make this happen. But are you doing that in everyday life? Are you doing that with your homework assignments? Are you doing that with your relationships? Are you doing that, to try to overcome things? Are you sitting there and allowing your mind to build a plan? And are you trusting that plan? Are you confident enough in your own thoughts to say, yeah, I can handle this? And if you continue to build that image and visualize it, there's no reason you can't be successful. You're in control of that mental state. And if you continue to feed it positive information and positive reinforcement, it will change.
At some point, we're going to be thrust back. I said this every podcast. At some point, whenever it may come, we are going to be thrust back into what we once perceived as normalcy. We're all going to be back in the building together. We're all going to be going to classes together. They're going to be sporting events. Kids are like it's going to happen. If you're not visualizing what you want from that experience, that whatever it is that we have left, you're going to be thrust back into that like a newborn baby without any idea what to do, and you're going to fail. You're going to fail if you don't visualize it. Am I being over dramatic?
No, and I think that's what keeps you hungry. I think that visualization is like, man, I cannot wait to get my opportunity. But I also think it's an opportunity to say, I haven't been giving my all.
Yeah.
And it's okay to admit that. Now, as I've gotten through the week, I'm looking at there's more you can do, Joe. There's more you can do in work, in life, in relationship. There's more out there for you, and you're cheating yourself not trying to go at those things, not trying to make it real for you. You need to tell your mind, no, this will happen because I'm going to work at it and I will not be denied. That's how powerful the mind can become. If you tell it something and you make your mind a believer, that the brain is the control system. And once that control system has what you want, that's it. There's nobody that can take that from you, and no one that lives inside that brain of yours. That's how powerful it is. And like we had said in the podcast on Wednesday, the physical, it's important. The mental is what takes you to a whole different dimension, a whole different level.
But the question is, and I think we had touched on this on Wednesday, can you get comfortable being uncomfortable? Can you get comfortable forcing yourself to wake up on a daily basis with barely anything to do and force yourself to do something productive on a daily basis?
And I think for most people right now, the the normal response is, I don't care. And like you and I have talked about before, I don't care is fear. It's fear of failure.
And discomfort.
You do care. But if you care, all of a sudden you're vulnerable. And vulnerability makes people feel uncomfortable. Yep. We all care. I like when people tell me you care too much. Because I'm like, hell yeah, I do. Hell yeah, I do. And I hope you feel that. And I'm going to pride myself on making sure everyone knows that I care and I'll always be here. You know what I mean? Yep. I think right now as a high schooler, you can send that message to your classmates. You know, as a junior or senior on any sporting team, are you reaching out through text message to the whole group of 50, letting them know I'm thinking about you guys. I do care. I'm not afraid of it. I'm right here, and I'm going to keep coming. And when we're back, I'll be the hardest worker on the field.
Yep. And that's the hardest part, I think, right now is convincing yourself or believing in the fact that we're going to be back when you feel like there's so much, we're going to be out for this long. We're not going to be back for this long. It's very easy right now to fall into I'm just going to hang. And as we get closer and I find out what's going on, exactly what the plan is, then I'll start to crank it back up. You don't get ready. There's no such thing, at least I don't believe in it, in getting ready. You don't get ready. You stay ready. You stay ready. That's an everyday thing. Adversity could strike at any moment, as we learned, and you stay ready. If you're a person that's going to get ready, the parade's going to pass you by. You'll never keep up with the people that are ready right now. They're going to pass you by.
That might be one of the greatest examples you've ever used. And when you think about the most powerful people or the most successful people or our military, do you think the Marines are not ready? Do you think world leaders and powerful people and A-list athletes and celebrities that they're not ready? You never know when your name's going to be called. You never know when your opportunity is going to present itself, and you don't know where that opportunity can take you. I think you and I have touched on it in the past. I don't know if all of our students realize that 7 years ago, Joe Panchella gets hired, and 3 days later, Jason Morrell gets hired. We didn't know each other. We had no formal introduction or relationship or anything prior to that, but we couldn't wait to look each other in the face and say, what are you going to overcome? What are you going to adapt to? Who are you and who am I? And all of a sudden it was like, I cannot wait to see this guy every day and see what he's got to offer, because I'm going to bring it right back to him.
And I think what made this work was the concept of I.A.O. And we said from the start, we're kind of all going through this epidemic together. We have to improvise together. We have to adapt to an ever fluid situation together. And we have to overcome together. We have to overcome the odds together. That has to happen. And that's why you and I are, basically, inseparable, because we just gave in to the fact that we're going to go through a lot of things. Some of it we're prepared for, some of it we're unprepared for. We're going to have to handle on the fly. Some of it we're going to have to overcome. Some we're going to have to adapt to. We're going to improvise. We've done plenty of improvising together. And going through that creates these bonds that are so palpable, so strong, that it just makes for a great team. And that's where we need to be right now as a society.
Absolutely. And
even at a distance.
Even at a distance. Absolutely. Even at a distance. We're still working together. And I think our ability to change has allowed us to overcome a million obstacles. The things that we've faced, the things that we've accomplished at West Deptford, we're not looking for the pat on the back or we're so much better or this or that. This whole thing is just to continue to provide the greatest opportunity possible for our student athletes. But our ability to adapt and get to know our surroundings, our clientele, if that's what you want to call it, aka the student athlete, we wouldn't overcome some of the things we've overcome. We wouldn't improved on some of the things we've overcome. I'm I'm big into podcasts. I'm big into ultra runners. I'm big into Navy SEALs and Marines and things like that. And there's a gentleman named Chad Wright who's an ultra runner, and he says, be hard when it gets hard. You can still be, a first-class citizen, a gentleman, a lady, treating people the right way. But when adversity strikes, when you need to overcome obstacles, can you strap it on? And that's not just physical toughness. That's mental and emotional and spiritual toughness as well. You've worked toward these moments. Every situation in your life happened for a reason. If you don't believe that, you need to revisit it and see that your experiences have brought you right here. I'm sitting across from you for a reason. Maybe I don't know why, but I know that it's bigger than me. It's more powerful than me, and that this message could help somebody. And that's what we're hoping these kids take away from this is right now, and something you've said as well, what you do matters. What you do matters.
And I think that's the crux, I know I said cornerstone before, but the foundation of why we're doing this in the first place is for those listening to this to create expectations, to create a standard for the way that they live their lives, so that no matter what comes to us, because look, if you want to find drama, pick up your cell phone. I mean, drama is easy to find out there. There's plenty of people out there crying and whining and complaining about their situation. But if you want to be successful, you need to be prepared. You need to be able to improvise. You need to be able to adapt, to change with a fluid situation. You need to be able to overcome. You need the fortitude to overcome some really hard times in order to be successful. And it's a small hope of ours that through these three, segments that we've had, these three short vignettes, if you will, that you walk away with something that's going to help you in the future. So, that's gonna wrap up week one for us here in the face of the COVID-19 crisis epidemic, and there's no doubt adversity's knocking at the door. And the door has to be answered. And if you're sitting at home listening to this, that means you're somebody that's got to answer the door. And how do you do that? I.A.O. Right? Step up to the plate here.
And I hope that the listeners at home are looking at what you and I are doing and saying they're trying to answer that door. They're trying to, attack this as best that we can without being able to physically fight it. We're bringing what we can to you guys, and we hope you bring that same mentality to your home if that's where you're going to be at, or to the small groups that you're able to interact with, or to the friends that you text and interact with. Let them know you're there. Let them know that we're all in this together. Let's come together as a group, and we want you guys to know that no matter how long we're away from each other, that we are here for you. And we know that you have concerns and questions, and we want you to be able to feel vulnerable and be able to ask the tough questions, or just say, hey, Mr. Morrell or Joe, I just need somebody to talk to. I just need to be able to bounce some ideas off because I'm confused right now. I want you guys to know that I'm confused. Mr. Morrell's heard me say it since last week. I'm someone who likes to know. I like being in control, and the uncertainty makes me feel a little uncomfortable. But the way I attack that uncomfortable feeling is go at it even harder than I would on a normal day. I'm going to wake up earlier. I'm going to do more. And then I'm going to hope that when we get back to our normal life, that I'm going to go at it even harder, that I just got better. But we want you to know that our emails are available, and we want you to reach out. Ask those tough questions. Let us know how you're feeling. Give us ideas on new things to talk about. We want to connect with you. This is not about Mr. Morrell or Joe Panchella. This is about the student athletes or anyone else who has taken an interest in what we're doing, and hopefully you're willing to share that message and take even a piece of what we're putting out there and use it in your everyday life, because improvising, adapting, and overcoming will happen every single day of your life for the rest of your life.
Well said, my friend. And that's going to wrap us up for the week. We will be back next week with a new 3-part series for you as we continue to grind through this adversity together. But like Joe said, listen, we welcome your emails and your correspondence. You know, we're all we're all kind of quarantined, doing everything we can to overcome this, and that might mean social distancing, but luckily we have the technology now to be able to communicate together. So please take advantage of that. If you have questions, if you have comments, if you have ideas and thoughts for our podcasts, we welcome your emails. Morrell at wdeptford.k12.nj.us, Panchella at wdeptford.k12.nj.us. Bring your ideas on. You know, we're here as a source of inspiration, motivation, and hopefully some normalcy, however normal we can get with you. So, Mr. Panchella, thanks for a great week. Thank you to Mr. Kirshner for doing a great job with our production crew. Thank you to Gio Batalana for our thumbnail once again. And we cannot wait to get back to you in the future. Hey, whether we're back at it face-to-face or whether we're still at arm's length distance, we're going to keep coming at this thing because in the end, we're going to overcome. We're going to I.A.O. So have a great weekend, West Deptford.